Welcome to the Landlady Listens. The podcast where we talk all things real estate, development, and the mindset it takes to build your dream life.
Okay, hey guys, it's Landlady.
I'm your host, Meg Hayden, real estate broker, new construction expert, and a believer in making big visions into a reality. So if you're ready to build it, dream it, and live it, let's dive in. Hey guys, it is Meg Hayden from the Landlady Listens. I'm super excited for today's guest. We are talking about the nervous system. And I have met our guest years ago. And I think now everyone is stressed and we don't know what our nervous system is or means or how to regulate it. And so I'm super excited to introduce this beautiful human here. Say hello.
Hello. Hi, I'm Dr. Celeste Ruland. I am a licensed naturopathic doctor, clinical massage therapist, prior personal trainer, homeopath, and recently kind of dove into somatic therapy because it was kind of a personal journey. But for years, I found and I was feeling like something was missing when I was treating patients and clients. There was just this. Being a holistic doctor, you really want to encompass everything, mind,
Right.
body, spirit, but there was still just this like missing piece. So, I guess I can go right into it. I had a pretty traumatic experience in 2023, and I responded in a way that was just completely dissociative. Like I wasn't feeling my own emotions. I was pretty much stuck in a survival mode, and I went to talk therapy, kind of went into this just cycle of just talking about what was going on, but not really feeling like I was balanced. I was still high strung, not eating well. Like there was something just off, and started going back to yoga. And this amazing teacher, Tara Morris at The Love Offensive. I don't mean to plug something, but
Plug it.
she's amazing. I don't really know exactly what she was saying, but it helped me.
I don't know what she was saying.
Whatever she was saying really helped me become more grounded and more grateful for the moments of just the gentle movement instead of being in my head and recapping and talking about all the things that were
Future,
happening.
past, yeah, just like doing it over and over and
Mhm.
over and over and over and over again. You're like, it's not even happening right now at this current moment.
Right. But just to like drop in and settle into my body finally, I'm grateful that it was hot yoga because I was crying every class, and you couldn't really tell if it was sweat or tears, so I was fine with it. But it was intense, and being the curious minded doctor I am, I was like, what is this? What is why am I feeling this now, and why does it feel like such a change? And so I went down a rabbit hole and came out with somatic therapy. And
And I think it's something that that's why I wanted you on the show, because I'm like, I feel like it's something that we all like hear about. And we hear about our nervous systems, but
Mhm.
it's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
In its essence.
Yeah. So soma translates to body, and somatic is in relation to the body. And so somatic therapy is how the body is in relation to the mind, and anything that brings us into our inside environment is more of a body centered approach. And so the yoga was kind of exactly what I needed because my nervous system was stuck in this dissociative, shut down, going into terms like polyvagal nervous system theory. I was in this very low dorsal ventral phase of survival response where I needed to finally like move through things to have my nervous system get back on track.
Know that it's okay.
Yeah,
It's safe.
exactly. Safe's actually the like key word in regulating the nervous system, because um, when I see people for somatic therapy, and even for myself going through it, it was the ability to actually feel safe in our environment, even if we weren't in that same environment. It's like we can get stuck in that. We can get stuck in whatever nervous system component we were, because our nervous system's made up of central nervous system, our brain and spinal cord, and then the peripheral nervous system, which is the periphery, the outside, all of the nerves that are kind of coming out, and they're sensing our environment, whether it's actually happening or they're sensing our expectations of what's around us based on possible prior experiences, maybe even childhood experiences we don't even like really register, has kind of created our response to different environments. So when our nervous system, it's not like good or bad, but it's this just natural survival response. And we need it. We're animals, in the wild. If we're
What
being
animal are you?
Actually, I have a Fitbit and my sleep says I'm a giraffe. So I guess I'm a giraffe. So yeah, it's this animal response to being chased. It's fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And when we get stuck in that, it's as humans, we don't really move through that nervous system response. We just kind of like shove it down and go, go, go. We got to get past it. And we don't really give ourselves like the grace and the patience to be non-judgmental about what we're feeling and what we experienced. And so we just shove it down.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting balance, because like that word grace, like to give ourselves some grace,
Yeah.
but also not to be like stuck in it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like grace is the word where you're like, I'm safe. Like, you got this. Like, you did all this, right? But it's also, just that place of like moving forward. So like I do a lot of like I listen to a lot of meditation, but I just felt like more recently that it's like not enough. Like you were saying, where it's like, it's like it's not, it's right, the breath work, and it's not being in your head, it's knowing you're safe, it's knowing that really in the end, like, you're always fine. Like you always make it through, right? But I felt like on a body level, I mean, you can't see it. I have 2 pounds of makeup on me, but on a body level, it always comes out for me in my face. And I'm like, I know what this is from. It's from stress. And I need better ways to cope with my stress other than just meditation specifically.
Yeah. I mean, that really brings up a great point. And I don't really need to get into the whole wordage science of the nervous system, but there is this it was the central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and the peripheral nervous system is made up of the somatic and the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is our involuntary nervous system that will control our heart rate, pupils, breathing, digestive system, and that has this ladder of our vagus nerve, and then there's this vagal response to being too stressed or being dissociative. So there's this ladder that we travel, and it's never good or bad. It's really, we move through it. And when we get stuck, that's when we might need a little bit of help to kind of bring us out of the system we're in. And so if meditation is not maybe feeling like it's doing the trick right now, you might not need that calming quietness. You actually might need a little more movement.
Right.
So you might need to kind of get yourself out, get yourself going, some exercise.
Yeah. So I started doing it. Like I was like looking at I ChatGPT'd it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things was like giving yourself a hug and saying, I am safe. And I know that, you're just even like putting your hand over your heart tells your body that
Mm-hmm.
it's safe. And just that whole idea of like, of the heart and getting out of the head and, into the heart. I know you're talking about science, but,
No,
but it is actually like all
it's the
scientific.
same.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
same. It's just a different word. Um, but then the other interesting thing that I've been doing was the like somatic dancing where you're just like, like
Yeah.
throwing your hip, like moving your hips, throwing it all around. And so it's been fun. Like me and my kids have just been like jumping around to
Mm-hmm.
like Brazilian music, but like going on Spotify and finding
Yeah.
like somatic music to just like move it through. Like whatever it is, that movement is so, like, I think it's really important.
Yeah. And how does that make you feel when you're doing
So
the
much
movement?
better.
Yeah.
I feel hot.
Yeah. You are hot.
Yeah.
We need different things at different times, but it kind of comes down to really listening to our body and being more in touch with it instead of being on the outside all the time. It's this awareness, non-judging of like what is actually happening in our body. What is the body trying to say too? So when I'm seeing clients for somatic therapy, it's me just observing. And I actually saw that you did that before, and I was going to bring it up, but you did an explanation of how you came up with it. ChatGPT, I use that a lot. It's my friend. But just doing this, it's you're touching, you're putting your hands on your skin. You can think or feel, what's the warmth, what's the texture, what's the pressure, what's the breath
Breathing
feel
into
like?
it, yeah.
Am I breathing where my chest is coming up and my shoulders are raising, or am I breathing in more of a belly diaphragmatic? Is my lower hand really feeling the expansion first? Is my rib cage coming out versus this kind of shallow breathing that, I mean, survival in today's society, it's like we almost are all stuck in having to do this sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, go, go, go.
Yeah, so like the sympathetic nervous system, talk to us a little bit about that.
So the sympathetic nervous system is more of our like gas pedal. It is our fight, flight. When we sense danger, we physiologically, the blood flow goes to our muscles, our eyes change so that we can really see what we need to do, or go or flee from. Heart rate increases, appetite, digestion will decrease, which can bring me to a whole point of seeing patients with digestion issues. It's not only probiotics and avoiding diets and FODMAP.
It's usually where it is. It was usually where it all starts.
We have to actually like think of the food, chew the food, get into more of that parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system is our fight or flight. It's our gas pedal. And then this is part of the autonomic nervous system, which was going back to our notes. The parasympathetic nervous system in relation to the sympathetic nervous system is our brake pedal, our rest, digest, and heal. And we go between both of those throughout the day. And that's the beauty of it. It's this kind of orchestra of fluidity, but that's where we sometimes need help, is where we get stuck. So we need the sympathetic nervous system. We need to, we're in traffic and we feel like we got to get somewhere. So we're not just holding everyone back, right? But then the goal is once we get somewhere, we can sink back into that parasympathetic nervous system or sink back into more
I just
of
tell
a
myself time isn't even real. That's what I tell my kids. I'm like, but it's not really. I don't think it is.
It is a construct, and we can do a whole other podcast about that too. But I think, hearing you, like, everything's going to be okay. Time isn't even real. You have this great sense of more than just our existence in that moment. Like, it's like what is mattering, what matters. Not everybody can think like that. So that's a huge advantage.
I'm not saying it happened overnight.
Right? It takes work,
It
right?
takes a lot of work. But I also just feel like I'm like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Literally.
some people could get stuck in what's the worst that can happen because maybe the worst has felt like it's happened to them. So you have what I'm seeing is like a good, it's called a window of tolerance. Like you can tolerate a little stress, a little relax. Like you can kind of, you have a good window where some
Yeah.
people might not have that broad of a window, where they're maybe just like stuck in the stress or stuck in the dissociative state or the freeze, the breakdown, the just quiet, not able to connect to people. But nervous system regulation and trying to trying to place them into a state of safety, or allowing their body to finally be listened to and to be respected and to communicate, that allows someone's window of tolerance to increase. It allows someone to go through those ups and downs with more ease without really feeling stuck, and having this greater adaptability of the life that we have to live through.
Yeah, I mean, I also feel like, you're talking about just like the body in general and how, I think part of it is I, I think we're so dissociated with our bodies, right? So like when you're sad, you might eat more or eat nothing, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
you're going to drink more, or you're going to use more, or you're going to whatever, or you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be on social media more. Like whatever,
Mm-hmm.
insert any addiction, right?
Yeah.
Insert any disassociative
Mm-hmm. Avoidance or
action,
mm-hmm.
right? Or inaction, but you're still acting, right? And so I think that for me personally, getting back to my body was really just saying, like, all right, I made a decision like 2 years ago. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna start doing like good things for my body.
I love that.
And like for all the things, right? And that the way that I did that was like trying 75 hard, which because everyone's like, you're not gonna be able to do that. They're like, you're just gonna lose the weight and then you're gonna put it back on. And I'm like, fuck you. Like, first of all, who cares, right? I mean, like, I gotta read a book, I gotta read 10 pages a day, I have to drink some water, I have to like have a diet, I
Mm-hmm.
have to move my body. You're gonna tell me not to do those things? I'm like, even if I do half of them, that's great.
Right, right.
It's better than what I was doing yesterday. And so it was funny because I just kept doing like, I would like get like into it like for 3 days, because you're supposed to work out for like an hour and a half. And I'm like, that's a lot,
Mm-hmm.
like
And
a
like
day.
twice a day.
Yeah. And so total it was like an hour and a half, so like, but then you still try to like maneuver it so that you're like, okay, well, like I can walk with the kids outside for 45 minutes,
Right.
like does it have to be, I could show my kids how to take care of their body
That's amazing.
with them,
Yeah.
right? And so I feel like, that's a whole other topic where it's like I feel like our kids are watching us, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
are teaching them everything, right?
Yeah.
We're teaching them, whether we're telling them or doing, we are teaching them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's like, what are you teaching your kids? Are you teaching them to sit on the couch and watch television because you're doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you teaching them what's good food and what's healthy food that's going to fuel your body to be stronger?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not like, and it's not, no one's like counting calories. It's just like, which one's better?
Mm-hmm. I'm so grateful for my hippie, spiritual, crunchy parents, massage therapist parents. I mean, I didn't really have a choice in what my purpose was in life, I feel, which is okay. I think we all have this path, and going with the flow kind of makes it easier. But I grew up with, washing dirt off of my vegetables and not allowed to have sugar till like first grade, and playing soccer in the front yard with my dad. And then later on, my mom actually brought me to this gym when I was 17 in 1997. And she brought me to the gym, and I started lifting weights. And my mom was like, they both did martial arts, and that was the environment. So I'm so grateful for that. And I still went through stressful times and trauma, and it that childhood, I think, allowed me to kind of move through it, because I think I was taught more of peace
These
and
are
regulation.
the coping
Hmm.
mechanisms.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people who aren't. They had different situations when they're a child and maybe didn't see how or see an example of how to regulate their nervous system. And it's starting to become more apparent that we really all just need to have a little more grace with ourselves, understand what our body's trying to tell us, work through the nervous system.
But understand, but listening to our bodies. It's
Listening. Yeah.
it's like I stopped eating, my diet was like not eating gluten because it hurt my stomach. Like I literally had to take omeprazole after I ate it. So like
I may have told you not to eat
yeah,
gluten too.
you probably did. But or rice, like I'll just have a little like of once whatever, potatoes and stuff like that. So it's just like people are like, that's crazy. I'm like, it's literally 3 things, and like I
Mhm.
don't feel good after some of them. So it's really just about like listening to your body. But going back to the nervous system, it's like, I mean, what does it look like in people?
You mean after dissection or like when I'm talking to people?
Either one.
um, Nervous system anatomically looks like this really cool web that just kind of connects to everything in our body. But when I'm talking to people to try to regulate their nervous system, it's for example, in like a session, I will sit down with them and ask them how they're doing, what's what's kind of popping up in their head at that moment, and they'll talk about either stressor or something they want to work on, and then I'll ask them, what have you really seen that was like beautiful, or what have you thought that you are really grateful for,
I love
to
that.
kind of get them into the not just talking about the negative. So we go into that, and then we'll sit comfortably, and I'll ask them to go through, if they're okay, a grounding experience. And a lot of this is an invitation, because I don't want to tell them, okay, we're going to deep breathe, or you're going to put your feet on the floor. A lot of it's an invitation because I want them to have the
Autonomy,
agency.
yeah.
Exactly. I want them to feel like it's their choice. They have the power, and they're safe in that, and I'm not telling them what to do. So we'll usually go through a grounding experience where we just feel the chair underneath us and the feet on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and they can close their eyes or lower their gaze if necessary, and just take a couple deep breaths.
So you're all gonna do this now, everybody.
All right, let's do it. So if it feels right, you can take a few deep breaths, relaxing the shoulders, feeling the air come in through the nose, enter into the lungs as deeply as the air can go, and slowly exhaling, either through the nose or the mouth, whatever feels right. And allowing that air from the outside fuel us on the inside. And as you feel the air come in and out of the body, bring your awareness to your feet and the feeling of your feet in your shoes or on the floor, the ground underneath you, and that connection and that support of the ground, the earth. And feel if there's anything going on, any sensations, without judging. What's going on in your feet? Is there a temperature? Is there a tightness of a shoelace? And then feel that sensation and move up from there to the ankles, to the calves, to your legs. Maybe feeling your seat underneath you, supporting you. And then moving through the pelvis and the abdomen, noticing if there's any gurgling or motion, sensations. Come up to the back, to the chest, feeling that air come in and out. And then up to the chest and to the shoulders, the arms, the hands, maybe the hands on the thighs or the hands interlaced, fingers. And coming up, shoulders again to the neck, to the face, and up into the head. And really just feeling that connection of above and below, support beneath you, and the air and connection to the outside and to the inside. And then I'll ask them if anything came up at that time. Like, was there an emotion, a feeling, or was there a sensation that stood out more than the other sensations? And then we'll go from there.
Like my feet were cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When your feet were cold, how'd that feel?
It felt like I wasn't connected.
Mm.
And then it kind of went, and then you're like, go up your your calves. And I was like, oh, and then it kind of kept on going up and for a little bit. And then,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that still happening? Does it still feel cold?
Yeah, I need better socks.
Now my feet cold. Feel cold. Yeah, well, that coldness also kind of jumping out of the session a little bit. That coldness also can be maybe like a blood flow. Like maybe you're feeling like your blood was the energy is more up here.
Mm-hmm.
We are thinking, we're talking, so it's not the exact situation of really getting ready to talk about what we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's interesting.
Yeah. Because it's funny because I normally do whenever I think of like body scans,
Mm-hmm.
they're always from the top down.
Yeah, and it's really is no right or wrong.
No, I know. I just normally, so I was like, oh, my feet, they're cold.
Mm.
It's just a different, I was just like a different experience to do that. So when you're walking through people through this experience, are there other types of exercises that you typically would recommend?
So in the beginning, I found that body scan and allowing someone to finally feel what's going on in their body is great because a lot of people aren't like we talked about before, a lot of people aren't really feeling what's going on in their body.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah, and I was also like, oh, breathe, right.
Sometimes we'll concentrate a little more on breathing. I like to end a lot of sessions with like a movement or like a homework or an assignment for them based on what I sense their theme was.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone is not able to like feel what's going on, they're having maybe a difficult time feeling the sensations or even feeling emotions, I'll have them do like a butterfly hug with some tapping, some gentle tapping just to kind of awaken the sensation of ourselves, or like you did, the hand on the heart and the hand on the belly and really feeling this sensation as well as the breath coming in and out. There are some other ones where it's the breathing and trying to exhale a little longer. So when you inhale for, I don't like to give so many like exact numbers, but if you inhale for 4 seconds, maybe hold for one, try to have the exhale for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds.
More.
Yeah. And that really stimulates the more of the parasympathetic nervous system, the safety, the increase of our heart rate variability, decrease of our heart rate, and that relaxation and getting out of the
kind
stress.
of control.
Mm-hmm. Well,
In like a weird way. You know what I'm saying? Where you're controlling this happening.
Right.
When everything else might not feel in control. This.
Mm-hmm. Something that sometimes is not in our control. Like the breathing is autonomic. It can be involuntary. You know, we have to tell ourselves to hold our breath. We don't really have to think, oh, I should take a breath in. So that is something that is autonomic or automatic. But when we do control it, we're really kind of telling our nervous system like this is a connection. Like let's fix this a little bit. Maybe get used to having more of a slower breath. That's not like 20 breaths in a minute, closer to maybe like 10 or less. Yeah, and that control can help people feel like they do have some control and safety over themselves. That is a really good point.
Yeah. So how like what other so the nervous system. So we have two nervous systems. Or we have one. Can you explain that again?
Yeah, so the nervous system is we have like a motherboard of our central nervous system.
Okay.
It's our brain, our spinal cord. It's the one that kind of makes the decisions based on the input from the periphery, from the peripheral nervous system. And in that peripheral nervous system that's coming out from our central, that goes to our organs, our muscles, sensing temperature. There's all these nerves that are feeding the information back into our central nervous system that makes the decision. Are we going to need to
Do
run?
this?
What hormones? Is it going to be, fight or flight? It's like the motherboard. But the peripheral nervous system is split into our autonomic nervous system, that is our automatic, that then has the fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous system,
Yep.
and the parasympathetic nervous system. So it's this branch of control, but it's really this beautiful feedback loop too. So when we're really regulating the nervous system, it's about being able to move through more of our autonomic nervous system. So it's the portion of our peripheral autonomic nervous system, and that's where the trauma responses, the fight or flight, the freeze, that's where that lies. And so when we're trying to feel safer and more in control, that's the part that we're almost like training, because we're not stuck in how we've always responded. We can, re-regulate, reconnect, create new pathways, create new responses to our environment. And so when we're
because it's really creating no, not only the neurological pathways, right, of saying instead of the worst, it's like what about the best, right? And then getting back to that place of breathing, of nothingness, right?
depends on what that person needs. If they need
Right.
nothingness, or if they're
But I'm saying like the chatter.
Oh yeah, the chatter is real.
The chatter in the mind, right? The
Mhm.
the not being present, the not living present.
Yeah, that monkey brain. Yeah.
Yeah, or you take all the other stuff and you're just holding on to it,
Mhm.
going through your life and just not being present, where it's like that's not even happening.
Yeah, there's actually, if you want another really great exercise that I haven't used often, but it's the 5-4-3-2-1 method. I actually did some notes, so I wasn't going to say this incorrectly, but the 5-4-3-2-1 method is a slow, great way to kind of drop back into the system, where you're in your body, but you're taking in the environment too. So you're slowly taking your eyes and taking like this broad look around and trying to pick out 5 things around you. So you're moving your eyes, you're looking, picking out 5 things. You can name them or just notice them. And then 4 things you're noticing, of things that you're touching. Like is it the temperature of the skin? Is it, or of the air on your skin? Is it the clothing?
The chair, the leg, yeah.
Feeling a seam. So noticing 4 things. And then 3 things that you might be hearing. Not really judging what you're hearing, but just noticing, is like high volume, is it low volume, something in the environment that you're hearing. And then 2 smells or 2 feelings of breath, noticing those. And then the last one is one that you're noticing in the inside. Is it how you're feeling? Is it a warmth? Is it rumbling? Is it heartbeat? So doing that really brings you out of this not being aware of what's going on inside and only being aware of what's going on the outside. It kind of connects it. So it's the outside and the inside connecting.
So cool.
So that's the 5-4-3-2-1 method.
So we're doing 5 things that we're seeing. 4 things that we're
sensing, feeling, that you can so the seam, you may touch the seam.
Physical, yeah, what we feel in our bodies. And then the 3 things
that you're hearing. 2 things that you're smelling, or 2 good breaths where you're doing the exhale longer. And then 1 thing that you're sensing inside.
I love that.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It's a good one. And that's why I feel like I really wanted to have you on the show, because I feel like there's so many little tools. I've been thinking about this. I'm like, all my friends, I'm like, oh, I meditate, and they're like, I could never.
It's tough.
And they're like, I can't even get 5 minutes. But then I started thinking about time, right? And time, we waste a lot of time so I just started, I try to delete like Facebook like once a week and
That's
Instagram.
impressive.
And I have my executive assistant like put out a lot of my content, so I don't have to like participate in it. Just because I know what ends up happening is like you just get stuck.
So
You get
much time.
stuck in the web. But anyway, and I mean I'm grateful to Instagram because then you end up learning like all these different like techniques, and like now I've been looking up like somatic therapy and like and just like regulation and different techniques. And I think it's really important. So in reality, you saying you can't do something for 5 minutes, like you can take 3 intentional breaths. Breaths, literally.
Yeah.
You can do your butterfly hug. You can, and it's really at any period in time, all day.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this thing that you're like, all right,
right.
11 o'clock, here I come.
It's so hard to add something else to our day that we're so limited already to the hours. Plus, this daylight savings time. Like, I feel like the days have.
It's done.
Yeah. I used to recommend, when I was a personal trainer, I would just be like, when you're brushing your teeth, like pick the other leg up and do a stretch with that quad, with your thigh. So adding on a habit.
Just do a squat.
To something you're already doing. Yeah. Or when you're washing the dishes, do some like humming a song or.
Oh, I've been, the humming.
Vagus nerve.
I've been learning about this like humming for like 2 minutes. So I'm like,
Yeah. I mean.
Well, because it creates, it's like creates in your brain, in your face, right? I don't know what it does, but what does it do?
It's the
Tell us, doctor.
So the vagus nerve we have 12 cranial nerves, and the vagus nerve, you probably heard vagus nerve and the terms going around. The vagus nerve is cranial nerve 10, and it's the longest nerve. Vagus also translates into wandering. So it wanders from our brainstem all the way down through our throat and our chest, our stomach, our abdomen, and it gives information back and forth. And when you are humming and chanting or singing or gargling, it's stimulating the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve helps to calm down the nervous system and bring it into the more rest and digest and not just the fight or flight. So you're stimulating the vagus nerve. You can do little like ear pulls, humming, the deep breathing. That's all really helpful for really regulating the nervous system. And so you didn't even know, and you were doing it just naturally.
No, I wasn't. I chat GPT'd it. I was like, help. So the way I met you was through your naturopath. And, my mom always talked about, like, we used homeopathic medicine that was like, I was really sick as a kid and I had really bad allergies and they just wanted to keep me on prednisone and like leave me in a hospital in like Chicago. And my mom's like, these kids, like, you guys are like treating them, but they look really sick. Like, and I'm not leaving my kid here. Like, absolutely not. And so anyway, so I was in the hospital one time and she's like, there's like, an Indian woman walking around talking about homeopathic medicine. And she was like, I was desperate. There was nowhere else. No one was listening to me. Like, there was just traditional medicine. Now my mom's Peruvian, so I'm sure she could have found some other traditional medicine, but which is ironic. However, so she got really into homeopathic medicine and she's like, that's really like what got you better because they were just giving you prednisone, which lowers your immune system. So you just kept getting sick. So it's this perpetual cycle that's never really addressed. And so anyway, so like I did a lot of I've always taken homeopathic medicine. And then even, in my like late 20s, I, like every 2 weeks, I just felt like super, super sick. Like I like had flu-like symptoms. Like I literally, like I couldn't walk up the stairs. I felt like a ridiculous amount of fatigue. And I was like, this is not right. You
Right.
know, and so I went to all these doctors and they're like, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm like, there's definitely something wrong with me. Like, I can't walk up the stairs, like, physically. I feel like I'm dying every 2 weeks. And so I went to a naturopath because I was like, you guys don't know what you're talking about because I don't feel okay.
Yeah.
Something's off. And I went to a naturopathic doctor and she was like, how long have you been on birth control? I'm like, forever. And it was like something that simple, but then she talked to me about, like your cortisol levels and your
Mm-hmm.
adrenal glands. And I was like, what's an adrenal gland? And what's a cortisol level?
Mm-hmm.
And so, she prescribed me what is it, ashwagandha? I can't ever say it.
Ashwagandha. Mm-hmm.
Ashwagandha. That's a really good one to help with cortisol level. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
know more, but I just feel like naturally, we don't realize that like our stress levels and that certain
Yeah.
things in the body, like actual physical systems, are
It's all connected.
it's all connected. And so so we met, later when I moved to Rhode Island, and I was like, I need to come meet a naturopath. But in terms of, that part of the somatic therapy, like what are some, you know, things that people should be thinking about if they do have, high stress, high
Mm-hmm.
cortisol? They know that like their stomach's always hurting,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Or like I have a facial breakout or whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm glad you went there because I was treating patients with, giving them adaptogens, which is helping their body adapt to stress, like ashwagandha, rhodiola, different ginsengs, licorice, B vitamins, all really supporting the adrenal glands, which are the adrenal glands on top of the kidneys and our back are what produces cortisol and other sex hormones and a whole host of hormones that the cortisol really directly is affecting our stress. But just giving those supplements and working, and I also, I mean, as a naturopathic doctor, it's really about using the most natural ways possible to support our own body's ability to heal. And so that is a big belief in naturopathic medicine, is that there is this ability to heal, but
We've been doing it for centuries.
yeah, but when we live in this society and we're eating our, chemical food and not moving and not sleeping well and going against the rhythms of nature, we really need more of a support. And that's where we need the supplements to supplement what we should already be doing. And when we need that extra support, there were all of these things that I was doing for people.
It's like the aftermath
But we also
almost.
had to, yeah, and we had to go back to the nervous system because that was really the missing piece. I would give people supplements, we talk about diet. People who aren't digesting well, they're probably not in their parasympathetic nervous system. They're rest and digest. We're not.
So I'm saying you're treating the symptom. You're not treating the like
Yeah.
it's the before.
Even as a naturopathic doctor, it still felt like, and I was going way deeper than some conventional medicine, but to me, there was this missing piece. And I
Right.
really feel like nervous system regulation is this missing piece where someone can have control and understand, maybe work on how they can manage their own stress and not be in such high cortisol all the time. And cortisol is not a bad hormone. It's necessary, just like our survival stress response. But it's supposed to have this rhythm. So we're supposed to have higher cortisol in the morning. Our body is supposed to wake us up, get ready for the day, be energized. And then it's supposed to slowly decrease as the day goes on to allow us to get into sleep. Melatonin goes up, cortisol goes down. We're able to stay asleep if cortisol stays low, and then the rhythm starts again.
Oh.
So that rhythm, in the rhythm of nature, the day and the night and the lights and the blue lights and red lights and all of those rhythms, the food, the seasons of how we're eating. I think we've gone too far away from.
Well, because we have no idea.
It's like we're not connected to nature around us, and then we're also not connected to our body.
Yeah.
But
I
trying
don't know
to
where
help.
I don't know where we're living. I don't even know where we are right now.
So doing those techniques of like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Yeah.
and listening to our body and trying to follow the cycles of nature and getting more in touch with how we're feeling, I think really is true healing. So
Yeah. Well, it's the mind, body, and soul, right? It really
mhm.
is. It's all very connected. That's why I feel like, the meditation, the clearing of the mind, right? Because when you talk about manifestation and meditation, and again, I go really deep into Joe Dispenza, but it's like we're sick because of what's happening here physically. We're physically sick because of what's happening here. And yeah, like, and it's like your brain creates, based off of what you're thinking, your brain is creating chemicals in your body.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's so true, though.
Right? But that's crazy. So it's like, so he always said, like, Joe Dispenza always thinks, well, if I'm sick, if I have that much power to make myself sick, I have that much power to heal myself. And so, like,
I just got chills.
Yeah. And it's true, though. But I really got into that because I remember I was moving one time and I just had and we already moved. And I had a headache for like 2 weeks after. Like, I woke up every single day with a headache, and I went to the doctor and blah, blah, blah. I thought it was Lyme's disease. And then after, she's like, I think it's just stress. And I'm like, what a fucking idiot. Like, really? Like, I know, like, I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm like, really? That's what you did for 2 weeks? Like, seriously? Like, it's already done. It's over. Already happened. But it's just so crazy to be like, oh my God, look at how I physically made myself ill. And think of all the other ways that happens in people's lives that they are not even thinking about. That's cancer, that's all your gut issues, that's everything. And the most interesting part too is, like, my friend, his dad had leukemia, cancer of the blood. And he was saying that he had done all this research, like, super smart, my friend Charles, and he was trying to find, like, natural ways, or just do, get into the rabbit hole. And so he found this, like, German doctor that talked about how all these cancers have to deal with directly.
Are we going through German new medicine?
I don't know what we're going through. But I can't wait.
Yeah.
But it's like basically how your specific cancer has to deal with, like, something that happened to you emotionally that you've, like, not let go of, or whatever. And it was like, he was like, yeah, so once, like, for instance, leukemia is like heartache, right? It's like a heart loss of, like, love, heartbreak. And the minute that he was finally able to release that, accept it, whatever it was, he had a heart attack. And
okay,
but
yeah.
So this is like literally heartbreak, right?
Yeah.
And they were saying that, like, in studies, that this happened all of the time. And I was just like, I'm like, that's crazy. Like, my mind is blown. But I think it is really true. I mean, it's like breast cancer, like, it typically has something to do with, like, a mother's love, or even, like, different kinds of cancer, even, like, uterine cancer. And so it's just really interesting to think about.
Yeah, this is German new medicine, or Germanic new medicine, or German new medicine, and I'm forgetting who came up with this, but he was a doctor, and I think he went through a tragedy where his son ended up dying, and then this doctor ended up getting, I think, prostate cancer or pancreatic cancer.
I don't know, one of them. Yeah.
And so he was in the hospital, and he was doing rounds, and he started interviewing people who had the same cancer, and they all had a traumatic loss of a loved one. And then he did brain scans, and I think they were I don't think they were MRIs, they might have been CAT scans, but they were brain scans to see where in the brain was this change, and it was all in the same area. And he started making these connections, and that's where he came up with Germanic new medicine, and how this emotional feeling
trauma
affects our brain, and then that is it comes
dispersed
out into our body.
Yeah, so it's like
true.
even if you go to get your breast, you get them cut off, like, it goes from one to the other, and they're not even connected. And it's just like, I mean, to me, so I think it's so important. Like, I want everybody to, like, take away something today that, like, stop making yourself sick.
Yeah, I also think it's a dangerous thing to say, because I don't want someone to think that it's their fault. you
No,
know,
it's not.
that they have the control.
I
Yeah.
think it really, for me, it's all about having the power
Mm-hmm.
to, number one, think that if you're thinking the negative, that there's also the light and the darkness, right? So to
So
think
true.
about the positive, the things
Mm-hmm.
that could happen, and part of that practice is gratitude.
That word was on the tip of my tongue. I
Yeah.
love that you said
And
that.
it's like, but it's true. I mean, my kids, I tell them every day, I'm like, okay, what were you grateful for today?
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's like every day, like my friend sent me this one thing, and it's the guy from, what's his name? The lady from Spanx that started Spanx, her husband, Jesse, he has this talk, and when anybody asks him how his day is, he says he's outstanding. And so I started doing that. And first of all, most people laugh, right? And I'm like, you know what? And so they laugh, and they're like, that's great. And it's interesting to just like their reaction just literally just elevates a little bit.
A little butterfly
Just
effect
a little
happening.
bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And but then also for me, selfishly, it's also a reminder that it is outstanding, because I think we go through days, everyone's like, how's your day? They're like, whatever. They
Right.
say, it's never like, I'm outstanding.
Yeah.
And people laugh, and I'm like, well, I woke up today.
Yeah.
And then I don't say anything, and you're like, you know what?
It's a fake it till you make it, because
It's not even that.
eventually
It's like,
your
be
body's-
grateful for like waking up, be grateful that your kids are healthy, be grateful that they woke up, be
Yeah.
grateful for your family. And that's it.
I think I meant like if someone doesn't feel grateful, it doesn't mean they can't learn to feel grateful and have gratitude. It is
So simple.
it's even if they don't believe it in that moment, I think it is important to just say that. Like my husband says when someone asks him how his day is going and how he's doing, he's like, just peachy. And I think his dad or his grandfather used to say that. It's just been passed down. So it's this fake it till you make it with the people that don't really believe yet that they can have gratitude, or they might not see the beauty in the world that's around us yet. But if you can notice a couple things and actually be grateful for some simple things, there is this change. There's been research showing there's this change that happens in your brain chemistry where you end up being happier and you end up being more grateful, because reality is kind of what we make it. There was this awesome Netflix. It was about psychedelics, which we can also go there if you want to, but it was about psychedelics and how people's experiences were with that. I think it was a bunch of celebrities. And Deepak Chopra was saying that our reality is what we make it, because a snake sees their world in certain colors and infrared, and a bee sees their world in those colors. Who's to say that our world that we see really is the only world, the only reality that there is? There may be more layers and textures and things that we don't see in this moment, but to pick out things finally that we might feel grateful for, we'll notice more of them, because it's almost like our reality has shifted. We're noticing more of the beauty in the world, and the world becomes more beautiful.
Well, yeah, and that's why I think like I mean, I do this sisterhood swap. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
Tell me.
I have it's like a pop-up community closet. So my friend Meg, she had like a party, and all of her girlfriends came over, and they all brought clothes, and they all swapped clothes. Yeah. And I was like, that's a great idea. We should do it on a community level and like have a little shop. And so every 4 months, like 4 times a year, we do a pop-up community shop. So we do it in assisted living. But everyone comes, they donate their clothes. I'm like, give yourself a half an hour to like put out all your stuff, like wherever it is, toys, shoes, hats, clothes, like everything, household items. I mean, literally everything gets there. And so then it's a week there, but it's so cute because it's like and everything's like free. And it's just like, I'm so sick of everything's so transactional that I like can't stand it anymore. So I just wanted to create a space that's like not,
Yeah.
that it's just like look at the abundance that we have, you
Mhm.
know? And I was saying too, the last time is like I was reading a book on, like manifesting wealth, and it was saying, in order to receive, you have to give.
Mhm.
And for so many, I think we all think about giving as something that's monetary, and it's not. It's really about um telling someone they look nice. I mean,
Yeah.
it's literally so easy
Yeah.
to be able to give. And I'm, pressuring everyone like as if, 2026 for their families, like, you want to feel good, you're sad, are you depressed? Why don't you go commit 4 hours to volunteer every single month with you and your family? And I feel like if we've gotten so separate from humans,
Community.
human
Mhm.
connection, community. But what I was saying too was, I mean, I think what's taught us, you know, lately with the shutdown was that we're able to organize very quickly, which gives me like a lot of hope,
Mhm. Yeah.
you know? And I think we need to not just take care of each other during the hard times. It has to be more of a constant thing because it's like everyone's up and down. There's no, like, everyone's not chilling all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I think, you know, giving back really allows you to have that gratitude. But I think, yeah, gratitude is it's so important, and it's really something that you should do like in the mornings, but also before you go to sleep, because you know your whatever you're putting in your mind before you're going to bed
It's
is
affecting your
also,
body.
yeah, it's affecting your
Yeah.
body. Well, because I used to
Yeah.
like spend I'd be watching like Law and Order or like
Oh, yeah,
SVU,
yeah,
like the
yeah.
worst,
Yeah.
right? The
True
worst,
crime.
yeah, like the worst, most depressing things. I was depressed, you know what I mean? And I'm like,
Mhm.
and then I remember waking up and I'm like, what am I doing? Why would I do that to myself? Like, why would I actively? So again, it's just like, I think, if you're listening to this, today's like a reset. Today's the day that you take inventory of the things that you're consuming, all of it,
Mhm.
and say, is this putting me towards my goal of peace, and happiness? And we don't always have to be happy all the time, but of like being able to like leave this life and say, okay, I did this in my community. I did this for others. Um, so yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think it's so important because this, going back to science of nervous system of the polyvagal theory, where we're in this dorsal vagal response of dissociative, and then you go into the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight, and then or active, and then you can go all the way into where it's really nice, where it's the ventral vagal, where ventral dorsal or anatomical terms, the ventral is in front, so you are connecting, you're able to connect, you're able to receive, and in that nervous system aspect, it's also like reflective in your community goals and how you're giving so that you're able to receive, and that it's all so connected,
I
and
know.
it's
It's
so
like
important.
it's so weird because it's like I don't think I'm a good receiver, actually. I'm not.
Mm,
Very closed off, actually. And so, even doing the sisterhood swap has really allowed me to feel more of that.
is that helping,
Yeah,
kind of
of
opening
that
it up?
opening it up, yeah, that connection.
Hmm.
Um so it's been like really interesting, and then the response of all of that, being able to give has allowed me to receive, and then I
Hmm.
receive more.
Hmm. It is this,
It's like so yeah.
I mean,
It's like get over yourself. No, I mean not, but
going,
seriously.
well, I mean, if we're going into like, I'm such a science nerd, but
I
if we
love
go
it. That's
into
why you're here. I'm
into
just the like anyway.
no, it's into physics. Like we can't destroy or create matter, but it can change. And so when we're instead of when we create something, it has to come from somewhere else too. It's
Mm,
not just like we're creating energy out of nothing. It
right.
has come from something else. And so when you're sharing this, it's like this physical, you can see almost like a creation of joy from a community and a sharing and an openness and social aspect. And we've gotten so far away from not only like the nature cycles and eating in the seasons and sleeping in the night and waking in the day, we've also gone so far from this community, this
Mhm.
support that we really do need. And when people say it takes a village, like it does take a village, but where the hell did our village go? Like, are we doing that to ourselves? Is how do we
Yeah.
make that step to have more of this village and work together to really create this healing environment, not only within ourselves, but with everyone around us?
The whole planet.
The whole planet. Yeah. The earth. Yeah.
Yeah, that we're living on and just
Mm-hmm.
trashing. It's
Yeah.
disgusting. Because I just feel like, yeah, it's been interesting, even the journey of the sisterhood swap, because doing it, I ended up realizing you start seeing like where everything goes. I feel like so we're such a consumer society now with
Mhm.
everything, right?
So it's more, more, more.
More, and it's never enough.
Exactly.
There's no end. I was watching this video of these kids, and like American kids are like, they're like, what do you want? They're like, a Lamborghini. And then there's kids in like literally Palestine. They're like, I want sugar. I want a piece of chicken. And I mean, and not, it's just like, regardless, it's just like it's a consumer society and there's no end. And I just feel like because we've been doing the sisterhood swap, it just really identifies the fact that like we are abundant.
You're shifting it.
Like we literally have so much shit, right, that somebody else could use.
Wait, are you looking in my closet right now when you say that?
No, I do. And it's so funny because everyone who does a sisterhood swap, they love it because they're like, oh my God, I got to go through my closet. And I'm like, listen, if it doesn't fit you today or look cute, that you're going to wear it,
Or
you get rid of
joy
it. Or you get rid of it. Like, get rid of it. Not like, oh, I might gain some weight. I might lose some weight. No. Right now. The present moment.
Yeah.
If it doesn't fit you right now, it's gone. And so, but it's also funny because everyone's like, oh, it's so great. Because then you end up pulling all this extra stuff out of your closet that you didn't even know you had. And then you put it together with another outfit. But then it's great because everyone gives. And they receive, whether it's a little this, a little that, a little and it's funny because it's not like a lot of times it's not even like what people are giving, they're getting, right? So it'd be like toys and like a shirt,
right?
You know what I mean? And but yeah, so it's really been very interesting to kind of see like how consumer ridden we are and how my hope would be to have it be a community closet that's open all year round. You know what I mean? Just a space where everyone's able to like take care of this place. So it's like we always say like shop the what is it? Like shop whenever people donate stuff, we're like, listen, you can't shop unless you like put stuff away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you've got to shop the amount of stuff that we get in. But what else do you want to talk about today? What else did you have in your notes? What else did you have?
I mean, I love the direction we went in, no matter what the notes were. I had like quotes of trauma specialists, but
yeah,
it feels
what
so
are the
blah
quotes
right now.
No. Let's do it because I feel like trauma is something that is like it's such a catchword too. I feel like
it is.
I feel like it's a lot. I feel like we're all gonna have different kinds of trauma, and I think that it's how we deal with it, right? And it's how we get back to ourselves, right? Because things are always gonna happen,
right? And
in your life,
there's the term of like big T trauma, which is like really, really big trauma, and there's little T trauma, which could be like traffic or you didn't have toothpaste left on your toothbrush or something. I don't know why.
I feel like that's not trauma.
So trauma isn't, and some to you,
right? I know, right. It's all relative. Yeah,
it is all relative.
I know.
And trauma isn't really. And different experts have labeled like Gabor Mate. He says trauma isn't what happens to you. it is what's happening to you on the inside
Mm.
based on what's happened to you.
Right.
Not quoting verbatim because I don't really feel like looking at my notes. And then my teacher, where I learned my somatic therapy, which was a branch of somatic experiencing, she told us that trauma is this agreement we have with ourselves,
Mm.
and agreements are meant to be broken or changed. So there's this ability to kind of change how we've experienced the trauma, and the trauma isn't always like you can have 5 people walk into a room, and it could be
They're all different.
it could be one really gory bad experience, and 5 different reactions are going to come out from those different people. So someone might be like, oh, I got to clean up this mess, and someone else might be like, oh my god, and someone might be like, oh, I'm hungry. It really random, but it's not just what's has happened. It really is our perception, our internal communication of
Tolerance too,
totally.
Yeah. I mean, some
So,
are intolerable, but I'm just saying, like you were
yeah.
saying, that contract with oneself.
And then
Yeah.
how fast can someone move through it? Is that going to stick with someone? Is that going to change the way that they see everything that has some sort of similarity to what they just saw? One argument you have with someone, does that mean that when someone raises their voice the next time, is it going to go right back into
Yeah.
how we responded and how we were feeling in that other argument because someone raised their voice? Or there's
The
all of
trauma
these
response. Yeah.
And so and the other aspect of trauma is bringing back to how we are animals. Is animals in the wild will be chased down and almost killed by like a lion or a tiger, and then if they find a way to get away, or the other animal couldn't chase them for that long, or something else called them away, that animal that was traumatized in that moment sometimes just kind of slowly comes to and just like
Shakes
it off, which is physically like shaking off that experience. They worked through it. Their nervous system went through fight or flight, freeze, and then shook it off.
Well,
so
that's
they
why
moved past it, but we
yeah.
don't.
And no, we don't. And I also, well, another technique that I was exposed to too was tapping.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little, do you know like a little bit about just surface level?
The like emotional freedom technique, EFT, tapping.
I don't know. There's tapping, yeah.
I learned about it in school, in naturopathic medical school in 2002, 2006. Dating myself. I haven't used it a lot, but it's about almost like working on like energy meridians in areas of the body where you're bringing awareness to yourself, and you're tapping, and you're also telling yourself like, I am safe, this is okay. So you're getting those senses and almost bringing yourself back into the awareness, and
then letting it go.
telling yourself, telling yourself it's okay, working through it and moving on.
Yeah. But you were talking too about like psychedelics, which I feel like is a very interesting topic. And actually, so my dad was an alcoholic. He struggled with alcohol for a long time, 10 to 12 years. And the week before he died, I had actually messaged a doctor that was doing psychedelic mushrooms for alcoholics. And I don't know if he would have ever done them, which it's like I don't get it, but but everyone gets to wherever they need to be.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because psychedelics, the way it was explained to me, was really it's a disassociation, right? Or reassociation.
It can be. Different psychedelics have different effects.
Yeah, but it was interesting to see kind of like this guy who was an alcoholic, and they found like really amazing results. Was just the fact that like the guy was like, yeah, in my vision, I'm like being dragged into a hole, into the darkness, and all I want to do is like get to the top where my kids are. Like I want to live, and that was just like that visual for him really enabled him to be like, all right, I'm done.
Life-changing.
Yeah, like I don't, like what am I doing?
Yeah. disclaimer, psychedelics are not legal in every state right now, but I really see that it's going to be shifting. Colorado, Oregon, Arizona's doing some studies. Massachusetts has the MAPS organization. Um, I've been like looking into this for a while. Just it's so interesting, and
Yeah, for
I had
PTSD,
hippie parents. So.
for PTSD, I mean, people with PTSD. I mean, even like the
Yeah.
government's like really
So
doing research, throwing research money behind it, and
yeah,
it has really great. I mean,
this and psychedelics were researched 40s, 50s, 60s. It was the war on drugs really, I think it was like Nixon, or the people in control started to fear that the people would not kind of take over and think differently, and so the people in control wouldn't have control of it anymore. And so there was this whole like squash of a possibility of huge health advances and mental health, you know, cures with how we were possibly exploring psychedelics that can change the way that we thought, change our synapses, change the way that we thought logic was, where we have this experience, we have this reaction, where psychedelics, and each of them have a slightly different way of working with you, but they essentially will just kind of wipe it clean. And no matter what experience you had, it's almost like here's a new ability to have a different reaction to this other experience, where you're not always going to be in the same response of how you reacted before, and you have the ability to be like, wait, maybe I don't need to think that way, go through that rage, go through depression. And then there's other psychedelics that will completely remove the ego for a short amount of time, where you get to experience this connection to nature and who you are and how we're connected to the world around us, and how there's not this overpowering need to identify ourself or our ego as this is who we are. It's like, wait, this is who we are. And that makes this almost like purpose of life, of love and connection that can and that can really change the way that we make decisions in life. And I'm really excited to see how that can come forward with research and be used in a way to really help this mental health crisis that we have going on.
Yeah, because everyone's like anxious and depressed, and they're just taking drugs
to self-medicate. But then that's the other really important aspect, where my next certification is in psychedelic or non-ordinary states of consciousness, weighing to, oh my God, I'm really forgetting the word right now, but to bring that back into reality and to integrate it. So it's that integration after you have these journeys and the experiences, and say, okay, what did I learn? How can I take those experiences and bring that back into
process them, like with a therapist,
right? So it's not like, oh, that was
you're
cool.
not just like at a rave,
but you're also like, what did I feel? What did I go through? What thoughts did I have? What other experiences of reality in the world did I have, and how could I incorporate that into the way that I'm living? So that way of the integrating, I think, is a really important aspect. And that's why I'm not against people doing it on their own, but I think it's really important to have it under someone who's facilitating and then helping you afterwards.
Right. And that's how these like programs like for alcoholics were done. It was literally through university in New York. I forget if it was like NYU, but it was through a doctor who was a licensed therapist who was also, with the patient through this journey. And there's tons of opportunities for people who have addiction. So like anyone who's listening, it's like alcoholism's like, it's a real thing. It's all over the place. I mean, even Charlie Sheen was like, what the worst drug was? Alcohol. And I was like, damn, Charlie, it's true though, because it's like, it's so acceptable.
It's almost expected.
It is expected. I remember, like, so I was doing 75 hard, and you're not supposed to drink on it. So I just remember I was like, oh, all right. So I went to a bar and I, got an appetizer, got my non-alcoholic beer. And the guy was like, he was like, what is that? I was like, it's a non-alcoholic beer. He's like, boring. And I was like, said nobody about me ever.
I
You
love that.
asshole.
Love what you said, how you responded, but I hate how
No, but
yeah,
it's like,
true.
oh, because that makes you more interesting. But again, so it's like that decision to say like, okay, what is like actually good for my body, okay, and my mind and my everything. So it's like, oh, you have a glass of wine to like wind down, like, it's just like it makes you more tired. Like I'm tired. I'm a mom, running a business. Like I'm already tired. Does it help with your sleep? No.
Right.
Does it put on calories? Unnecessary I mean, just all there is
Toxin,
nothing
liver.
there is nothing good about that.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I drink on occasion,
Yeah.
right? But
I literally don't even anymore because I just like, I was like in Spain with my mom and I was like, fine, I'll have a glass of wine. And then I was like, oh my God, like my stomach hurt, my head hurt. And I'm just like, why would I feel 80%
right.
when I could feel 100? And so I just don't.
You made that decision to really put yourself and how you're feeling first
Yeah.
versus like society
And
trying
really
to
listening to it.
listening.
But again, it's just a habit. Everything
Can
we do
be.
is just a habit. So it's
so
like,
true. Right.
people come home, they're like, oh, I had a hard day at work. Like, let me just have a glass of wine. And it's like, and your body, like you're even thinking about it now. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. And
gross.
just like you said, the habit of gratitude, right? And then when I
positive thinking and all the things. Yeah.
when I work with patients who do want to, like, if someone's coming in because they want to lose weight, I don't make them stop drinking alcohol, but I give them reasons why it might be a good choice for them to stop drinking alcohol.
Yeah, like, are
Especially
you
if they have
doing
the goal.
anything after you drink?
Yeah, and
Are
then
you moving your body after you drink? No.
also the way that our liver processes it, it's stopping the priority is to get rid of that toxin versus burning fat. So we actually don't burn fat for hours after we had a few drinks. Liver in Chinese medicine also can be related to anger when it's out of balance. There's a number of reasons why if someone wants to lose weight or to feel healthier or sleep better,
Or
alcohol
not be
should off.
sad.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like hello.
Yeah.
Alcohol's a depressant.
It is. It
You
is a
are
rebound
literally making yourself depressed. You
So true.
by
Yeah.
the choices that you're making. So it's like, again, have some gratitude, go help other people, stop drinking.
So the habit though, it's really challenging, not to cut you off, but
No,
it's
go ahead.
challenging to all of a sudden say like, okay, I'm going to not do this thing that I was doing. So when someone goes home and they're used to pouring a glass of wine, sit there and drink, have it relax them, I try to
So you gotta substitute.
with like
so
a tea, like a kava tea,
not even
or
just
an
like a
adaptogen.
non-alcoholic beer. Like I do the
Anything.
non-alcoholic beers. The
Do they have gluten
athletic.
in them though?
Yeah, they do. It's my guilty habit.
Yeah. So
I don't eat gluten, but
you're making the choice to what feels right for you.
Right. I'm
and
like,
that's the important thing.
exactly. I'm like, have they made a gluten-free, alcohol-free beer that's good? I don't think so. I haven't found it yet. And if there is someone that has it, I would love to hear about it. However, so yeah, it's that substitute, right? So it's the like, it's the going to a bar and having like a beer, having a drink. I never really like drank any, like I never had like martinis or anything like that. It wasn't really my thing. But like a beer, so it's really just about making that habit like be a different habit. So even like I liked, Prosecco, that whole like celebration, but I get these green teas, like sparkling teas from Trader Joe's. They have like really good ones.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, some of the sparkling wines are disgusting, but you just have to know that you might spend like $30 on something that tastes like vinegar and seltzer.
Like kombucha.
Nasty.
Or,
yeah.
There's so many different brands now that are coming out with non-alcoholic drinks.
Yeah, because
like
people are really doing it.
It is. I think there is a shift.
There's definitely a shift. I feel like it's like even like the Real Housewives. She's like, I'm not drinking. Everyone's like, why are you not drinking? And then you're like, oh yeah, because you don't really need it.
Celebrities are coming out with different brands of non-alcoholic drinks. I think it's great. It'll happen. Like you're doing with the community swap. Like you're centered on the community you have now, but things will expand. That butterfly effect.
Are.
Yeah. So that's that's kind of when we get so overwhelmed with how we can't control the things that are happening in the world today. Like, let's take a step back and really see, like, what can we control? We can control our reaction to things. We can control
What
the
goes in our
breathing rate we
body.
have. We can control the food. We can control how we're going through our moments. And that eventually can affect the rest of the lives around us, which will affect the rest of the lives around them. And I mean, we're in Rhode Island, so it's really 2 degrees of separation. Like,
Yeah.
this state can change in a moment, right?
Yeah, but I think, I mean, that's really what it's about. I think it's really about, I mean, even like Joe Dispenza talks about how when people are in the same room together and they're doing these meditations and they're going into like heart head coherence or whatever it is, they're going into like an altered state through meditation. And how like he's literally has like scientific instruments that are showing that like the elevation of the energy in the space is like higher, and that it can actually like heal people. And you know, I think even I saw this thing on Instagram the other day, but it was like, you know, just even like one strawberry that's like rotten just rots everything else, and you're like, whoa, that visual is so true. And that's why I think it's really important to make sure that, you know, also taking inventory of the people that are around you. You know, as much as you can. It's like I want to be around people who, and I have an amazing group of female friends that, and I have an amazing, you know, my work is amazing. We're here in this studio because of my amazing broker, James Luth. But it's like, you know, being around people who are givers, being around people who want to take care of each other, truly, and being around people who want the best for you, who are looking to to lift you up, to help you find a solution, to help you get to your goal. Like that is huge. And the people that are not doing that in your life, bye. My friend always says, he says, just turn the volume down, you know, for like different people. It's like, you know, it's like if the person, you know, just find those people around you that can really, that lift you up, that make you feel better.
Yeah, it's so important. And it's a co-regulation, I think, might be like one of the terms that people use. Like you're actually regulating your nervous system, or your nervous system will regulate based on the nervous systems of the people around you, which makes you kind of think, like, where does our energy end?
It doesn't.
Is it our physical, or is this energy around us? Does it then connect? Like, where does it start connecting with somebody? How does that affect the people around you? Like, there's this feeling when you walk into a room, if you want to be there or not, if you like the people or not. There is this energetic quality to who we are, who they are, and our entire environment. And shifting that,
or even paying attention to it.
Feeling it, that gut sense.
Yeah.
So gut sense actually is the vagus nerve. So bring it back to science. But that vagus nerve, the cranial nerve, it's going all the way down and it ends up in the gut. So there really is this gut sense of, is it safe or is it not safe? Do I have to run? Do I have to turn on my sympathetic nervous system and go into fight, flight, freeze, fawn? They're coming up with new words all the time of our reactions. But do we have to do that, or can we sit and relax, and are we safe here? Can we sink into this? Can we put our guard down? Do we feel okay? It's
cool stuff.
It is. And there's been I think there's like research or experiments on a group of people that were meditating in somewhere else. It could have been California, and
probably was,
because it was like years ago. And then they tracked the crime, I think, in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And while they were meditating, the crime went down.
I know that's what Joe Dispenza talks about. They do like these like group meditations in certain areas, and like war, like conflict areas, and that it's literally it all is all connected. And so I think that's why it's really important for, you know, us as humans to remember that we do have that, to make sure that we're out of our body, we're out of our mind, we're interacting with other people, we're being that positive light, you know?
Yeah.
And I tell my daughter this all the time too. I'm like, you are sunshine. And I have her, I'm like, all right, so you're going to close your eyes, and we go through a guided meditation, a body scan of white light going through
Such
your
an
head.
amazing mom. You're doing magic for those kids. You are amazing. Like, you should be so proud of yourself.
Thank you.
How you're setting up the energy of future generations.
Crazy. But I tell like to my kids all the time, I'm like, you throw this rock
Mm-hmm.
into water,
Mm-hmm.
you see a ripple.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to be? Do you want to be positive? You want to be the ripple that makes everyone like, and I'm not saying to not take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that you can have that effect. You want to be the positivity, or you want to drag people down. It's really like, that's how people are, right? You're either going to be an energy sucker or an energy lifter, like you're a vibrator, not a vibrator, but you know what I'm saying.
I know.
But anyway, so when we're doing this body scan, I say like, all right, we're gonna close our eyes, and you're gonna imagine a white light going through like the top of your head, and you're gonna focus on you're gonna go, and it's gonna cover your eyebrows and your eyes and your nose, like your beautiful nose and your lips, and down to your chin, to your neck, and to your chest, and to your stomach, and to your your hips and your legs and your knees and your ankles and your feet. And then you're going to cover, and now you're all white light. This is what we do like before we go to school. And then I'm like, and then you're going to put a bubble on top of you so that nobody can take it because it's yours. And anything that comes in just bounces off. Like that you have that ability. You know what I mean? It doesn't all need to be yours.
That is gold, what you're teaching them. Really, it is.
Well, I don't know. I just feel like, I feel like it just, and it was so cool because Isabella came home one day and she said, Mom, she said, this kid, whatever, Billy, was having a really hard day. And I told him about sunshine. And so she did it with this kid. And that, I was like, proud mama moment. Because, like, not only did you listen to it, right? You, like, gave it to someone else. And, like, that's so cool. And I think we all have to think about, like, just the things that we're saying, to our kids and saying to other people around our kids, and just that they're consuming everything that we say.
Yeah.
All of the time.
Yeah.
So like if you're on your phone and like all you see, like I just always imagine myself like as my kids sometimes. I know that sounds weird, but like as their little selves like in the back like of the car, like what are they looking at?
It's sympathy, empathy. Yeah. And that consumption is so real because when we bring it back to like the social media, we're
hours
consuming like what's on my algorithm, right? Like you can change your algorithm to have like puppies and happiness, or if you start spending more time, it's almost like the outside world, like social media algorithm is actually really relating to our inside world.
Yeah. It's like us expressed.
So you can make it that you spend more time like watching comedy and puppy movies and reels like that, or
the problem is that you can't be. I feel like what I've realized is that I can't do that because if I'm following my friend, right, then I'm on their thing that they're upset about or want to share. And I'm like, I don't know, that brought me to a place that like I didn't even necessarily like want to go to or I was. And so it's like I don't have like control of my experience. I'm like consuming somebody else's experience with social media or with wherever they are.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a great kind of example of how you can kind of shift your nervous system and become more aware of what's going on inside. So when you were scrolling and your friend sent you something or you were on her social media and you didn't like it, you can recognize, okay, what is this bringing up in me? Like where do I feel this? What am I feeling? What are the emotions, sensations? What's my body posture? What's my mind? What's my imagination? That's actually 5 channels of our own communication in our body.
Wait, say that again? Imagination?
So yeah, I mean, so my teacher of my somatic therapy course, she taught us that there's these 5 channels of awareness of how our body senses our internal environment, and going from most conscious to least conscious, or one that we have most control over, to the ones that we don't. It goes from the mind, like how we're thinking, what are our thoughts, logic, imagination. So imagination can cover like our past memories. This is a huge tangent, but we're gonna go there, I guess. Our imagination, so our past memories, how we're imagining something, how we're picturing ourselves, to body movement or posture. So how we're feeling is kind of becoming what we are looking like.
As I'm like moving my posture. Yeah.
And this is so we can change our posture and actually change our feelings. So we want to feel like happier and more
Totally.
proud. Or if we start doing this, we actually might start feeling a little more like withdrawn and sad. And then it goes into our sensations. So warmth, textures, tightening of chest, and then into feelings or emotions. So those are the 5 channels of awareness. And when I'm bringing someone through a somatic therapy session, whatever I'm observing in them and whatever they're bringing up, I will try to explore what they're feeling by asking questions leading into each of those 5 channels of awareness, so that we can almost have like a better picture or a better understanding of what's happening in our body in all of these ways that our body is trying to communicate with us in this experience that you're having. And then how can we move through it, feel safe enough to fully experience it, move through it, and get to the other side of the animal shaking it off.
Well, because I think what's interesting, though, is like you talked about imagination. And so originally I was thinking about like imagination in terms of like my kids, right? Being able to like create spaces where kids are allowed to imagine, not just like, oh, we're going to buy this thing from Amazon. And
yeah, creativity.
Yeah, right. Just like, here's some stuff, make it happen. You know, I've been like collecting like paper towel rolls and toilet rolls. We're going to make an advent calendar. Being very, very reusing. Lately with my arts and crafts.
Yeah.
But
that creativity.
So the creativity. Yeah. So that's where my original thought had gone. But when you're talking about imagination, I think that that's so important, because it's like, it's how we saw a situation.
Exactly.
Which is so relative.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like Joe Dispenza talks about, like, it might not even be like how it happened or even real, like parts of it, right?
100%.
So I think that when you're able to realize that it allows you to just also go back to that space of like, you know, it's not even real. Like, all of it's not even real. It's just like my perception of what happened. And I think you're able to move through things quicker, and let them go more because of your inability to perceive. And also, like, it doesn't matter right now. Like, right now, it's not affecting you. It's not hurting you.
Right.
You know, and I think that what was really interesting is I had this therapist one time, and he was talking about how he has all these other friend therapists, and they meet up and they do like group therapy.
Yeah.
And he's like, and they're
necessary.
And he's like, you could not pay me to be a therapist. I'd be like, get it together. That's enough. I don't want to hear anything else. But so anyway, and then like, but give yourself some grace. But anyway, so he was talking about how, you know, he's like, you know, they're all my age, they're all older, and these therapists are still talking about the things that like they're, you know, that happened to them, like their parents or whatever. And he's like, and their parents are like dead. They're in a nursing home, and they don't remember their name, or they're shitting in a diaper. You know what I mean? Like, they can't, but they can't hurt you anymore, right? So it's like that idea of that we are holding on to these things. And like, for me, when he said that, it was so profound, because for me, I was able to let go of, you know, my dad being an alcoholic. I was like, how long am I going to hold on to this? Because because I could hold on to it for the next 50 years if I wanted to, you know, but it's just like, no, this is mine. This is my life. This is my thing. This is my thing that I can decide
Yeah.
what I'm ready to like release and move on from.
And the other aspect of that, I mean, talk therapy definitely has a time and a place.
Absolutely.
But when we continue, like I was doing personally, it's
It's
like
the
cycling through the story and
telling the story, the victim's story.
it's the talk therapy is described as like a top-down approach where it's okay, how can we figure out how to think of that differently? How can you look at that differently? So it's top down, but somatic therapy and nervous system regulation is really this bottom up approach where okay, so you're having those therapists were having those same memories come up of what happened, like how their parents treated them. But if they maybe also added this, okay, how does that really affecting me? Like, how am I feeling that in my body? What is my body trying to communicate to me in the way that reaction was? And
Mhm.
what's happening and how can I listen to that and feel safe in that moment enough to work through it so that it's not just the mind trying to change it because sometimes the mind is not the whole story, right? So it's the mind, body, spirit. So when you are finally incorporating the body and the energy and the spirit into the story of how it's affecting the mind, so how the body is in relation to the mind, somatic therapy, then it's more of a complete picture where I think we can actually finally work through things
Mhm.
and not have it rear its ugly head
Well,
in
because
some
we're
way.
always trying to like, we're always looking for something outside of us to like save us. And the fact of the matter is, like, nobody's coming to save you. You got to
Mhm.
save yourself. You got to throw yourself a life jacket, a lifeline, and you yourself are going to
Mhm.
have to do the work. That means do the talk therapy, do the somatic, therapy, move your body. Literally go for a walk. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're like, "You look great." I'm like, they're like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I walk." I literally walk. I go
Yeah,
outside
it's not
and
just for exercise though.
it's not.
Yeah.
No, and it's not. Walking is like an amazing exercise. I mean, just for all of it.
Mhm.
I want to try to do this like 12-hour walk that I heard Dan Martell do, where you're like not allowed to like be on your phone or anything. You just like walk for 12. Like you don't like walk. He's like, but you like walk and then you sit and then you can journal and then you like. So it's kind of interesting. So I want to do that one day. It's on my list.
Are you going somewhere or are you like walking
You
around the block
can. You
or
could walk.
like a destination or
You
just
could. It's like however you kind of like
wow.
want to set it
That's
up.
really
But
body
by
centered.
by
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah. So it's just you with you. So anyway, so yeah, so like that's something I want to do, but I think yeah, like moving, just being more conscious about all the things that we're doing is like moving your body and but doing the work,
Yeah.
being
Mhm.
conscious of the things that you're putting into your body. Read the
Mhm.
label.
Mhm.
You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like I would even like walking, I'm like, okay, not that I care about calories, but when you start like just even seeing like, oh, that's like me walking an hour and a half only burnt like 190 calories.
Yeah.
Not that I care about the calories, I don't. However, if I look at an Arizona iced tea and it's 190 calories, I'm going to choose my water because then I'm like,
Mhm.
well, that was a waste of an hour and a
Making
half.
that conscious effort to prioritize yourself.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
again, this is like high fructose corn syrup. Like it's just like
Mhm.
there's nothing good in here
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. And it's right there on the label. We just have to like
Yeah, just
read it.
pay
Yeah.
attention. Just pay a little bit more attention. It's like put the phones down. Like I like turn off the televisions. Like I tell my kids, I'm like my TV doesn't work. Even though if I spend 10 minutes trying to like figure out how to connect the Wi-Fi to the stupid stick,
Yeah.
we'd be fine. But I'm like, nope. We're gonna play board games.
Love that. Playing cards.
Yeah, play cards or do any of that. So, all right, I feel like we've exhausted all the things. What's your last thing?
I do want to go back to what you were saying about prioritizing yourself and throwing yourself that the life vest and the flotation device. Some people do need a little more assistance and a little more help. So like it's not try not if you can't help yourself, reach out for help. And I think it's not we do have the power and the control over healing ourselves, but we do need support. We do need that
The
community.
tools, you need
We
all the things.
yeah,
I
we
totally agree.
might need like a co-regulator, and doing somatic therapy or any therapist is really just kind of a loving, non-judging presence for somebody
With
to
tools.
allow them to work through it. And
Yeah.
the same thing as naturopathic doctor. I mean, and doing massage, it's like someone else can go foam roll, but there's something about the way that I'm listening to their body and working through it for them that helps them so much more than like a Theragun. And then also with naturopathic medicine, I mean, someone can go look up how to eat, what to eat, what supplements to take, but for me to be there and kind of guide them and support them, I think really is another like healing, powerful presence.
You had a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
a partner in the progress.
Yeah.
And I think that you're 100% right, where it's like, there comes a certain point where you're like, all right, I need help. And like for me, it was like being in a place for like longer than 10 days, feeling like helpless.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck this shit.
I'm
not doing it.
I can sense you're just like you're a very strong person with really strong will and a great connection to higher powers and your ability to heal. So
But there's a
you're taking advantage of it too.
Yeah, but there's a time where I guess there's a time where you're like, I need help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I
Yeah.
need a therapist. I just need to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my only thing with saying that is like, there's no reason to sit in it any longer. And like, if somebody's listening to it today, just say, fuck this bullshit.
Change it.
I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And I need help.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. And I need to go for a walk. And I need to start like focusing on me.
And it's possible.
And it's totally possible.
Yeah.
Anyone can do it.
We're resilient. Like we're not stuck in one way.
No.
We are so resilient. We're not using half of our own resources that we have in our brain,
ask
our
for help
body.
from your friends. Ask for help when you just need something. Anything.
Someone to talk to.
Yeah. 8 minutes. My friend said that my friend sent us all a thing, and again, like I so implore people, even on Facebook, like I remember the reason that I have this like amazing group of girlfriends is because on Facebook at this point, like six years ago, I was just like, all right, I was like, first of all, I really realized that I needed more like female connection with women who were in business, who were doing bigger things than me, and that I wanted to learn from. And so, I would do all these like talks, and I would invite these amazing, incredible women to come and talk about their experience and their successes, but also just like about real life, about being a mom, because it's like we are so I think as women, we want to be successful in the home, like that's really something that like is so much more than anything outside of the home. But yet, we still want to do the things outside of the home because they also give us like purpose and like allow us to live, and so but anyway, so there was like, there was a point in time where I realized that getting up at like 4:00 in the morning really helped my life, because I was able to like just be alone in like a quiet, dark space and just like take time for myself and not feel anything, because no one was bothering you. My phone wasn't on. The babies were sleeping. So so anyway, so on Facebook, I was like, who wants to get up at like 4 in the morning? And there were like a bunch of girls that were like, yeah, me. And so we were laughing because I was like, for the first week, I did not get up at 4. We just get up early, like at 5, whatever. It was just like everyone wanted to like get up earlier. And it was funny because like I did not wake up at 4 in the morning for like the first week, like at all. I was like, of
The
course
organizer.
Yes, that's totally me. And it's totally me because even in college when and that's the thing I feel like we always like forget is that like again we are like a community. We're here to like be accountable to each other. We're here to lift each other up. We're here to like just like let's go higher. Let's see how high we get. Like let's see how far we can go, and we can go so much further together. And but even in like college, I'm like I was not a great student, and I would organize everyone. I would CC everyone in the class, and I'd be like, all right, let's get a study group together. And I would be the head of the study group, and everyone, I'm like, bring your study guides. And we would go through the study guide. So I'd be with all the smart kids. My study guide would be filled out. And it was
Smart.
great. But it's also like
So smart.
But it's also like you're welcome. You like we all benefited from the situation.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's totally following through in everything that you're doing. Like you're like the organizer, creator, supporter.
Someone was like, you're the glue. And I was like, oh, I think that's a good way to describe me. But anyway, so I just encourage anybody who's listening to really like to find your people, to get together with them, to like to pour into other people. And it's just funny because it's like this group of girls, like I don't think we would ever have like necessarily like gotten together but everyone was like, yeah, I want to do this thing.
Commonality.
Yeah, and I feel like so it's important, whatever it is you're doing, like whether you want to write a book, like go find a writing club, which I do because I'm writing a book for my daughter that I haven't finished in 7 years, whatever. But I still go to the writing. We are. I have like 60 pages, so like it's there. But again, putting yourself in spaces that allow you to get to your goals. So I joined a writers club, and we meet twice a month. Not that I get to it all the time. However, it's like taking those little actions, taking those little steps to get to the goal.
I love that.
And create, and like just being like, all right, I'm going to do it. But yeah, that's it. All right, so my last 3 questions, because we're like so over.
Oh yeah, love this. You can have anyone up.
2 hours later. Any like book or podcast recommendations that you would like have
other than this one?
Yours. Other than the Landlady Listens, obviously. But yeah, something like some book that really like you're either reading that was like really interesting or cool, or something that was like you're like, wow, this really changed my life.
I listen to more audiobooks.
Me too.
Than reading, and different podcasts, and I have so many. I think the one that's coming to the top of my head, just to really go in the same theme of the nervous system, is The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh yeah. I was like, I couldn't do it because it made me more depressed.
It can trigger people that.
I was just like, I can't.
Books
I was
are
like,
great.
I was like, I can't go in there with you right now.
Yeah. It's a great, I've read that on different people's reviews that it just can be like, people aren't ready for it.
Yeah.
That one does really, it kind of pioneered this somatic movement. Though.
Yeah. I feel like you read that when you're not in it.
Smart.
Right.
Yeah.
It's more of like, oh, I see that. Not like, let's get back into it.
I can't think of specific podcasts because there's so many on my list that I listen to on the regular based on somatics, and then I have homeopathy podcasts, and then I have
what homeopathy?
There's one like Homeopathy for Mommies is good, and then there's let's go through my list. There's some naturopathic podcasts I listen to a bunch of different ones. Trauma Rewired is a good one. Soul on Fire. I'm just going through my...
Interesting. What's the Soul on Fire one?
That one is kind of about how you could heal yourself through different mitochondria and energetic healing therapies.
they're all blending together for me. What I do recommend for like my patients and my clients, usually looking up like a quick little YouTube for like yoga nidra or deep breathing, something, because a lot of people need help like support sleeping. And so for me, my brain's just always going. And so it takes a really boring podcast or a YouTube to kind of have someone else talking over my own talk. And so something that's leading you through like a meditation or even audiobooks of like lullabies or children's sleep stories. This sounds so silly, but just something that's telling me a story so my brain doesn't go into its own stories. So YouTubes that are like Yoga Nidra, which is the yoga of like sleep and doing the body scans and progressive relaxations. Finding something where you like the voice of the person.
Oh, yeah.
And not only the words, but also the voice.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because when I started listening to Joe Dispenza, this is a funny story. I was like, not into him. However, I was driving Uber at one point in my life, and one of my Uber drives, this was hysterical. So I pick up this girl in Narragansett, and I drove her to what I thought was Cranston, but it was Canton, Mass. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, I wanted to drive like an hour. This is crazy.
Silly little typo.
Yeah, I was like, I just am picking up a couple bucks here and there. Obviously, I don't know how to read this thing. However, she's like, oh, it's okay. She's like, I could just get another one. I was like, it's fine. I'm like, what else am I doing? So anyway, we drive up to Canton, Massachusetts. And this girl's telling me, it was like divine intervention. This girl's telling me about how she had cancer when she was 16, 17 years old. Doctors are like, you're going to die. There's nothing, blah, blah, blah. She was in the hospital for like 2 or 3 years. She's like, so I picked up this. She's like, my mom was really into like spirituality, all this stuff. She's like, so I picked up a Joe Dispenza's You're Supernatural. And
his books are amazing.
His books are really, really incredible because they're all based in science. So it's not just like hippy dippy stuff. It's like real. So anyway, so she's like, yeah, and I healed myself. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I meditated and I literally got out of the hospital. But then her mom died like immediately after, which is like so terrible. But on the way home from Canton, Mass, on my drive from in the middle of nowhere back to Narragansett, I started like listening to Joe Dispenza, and he was talking about like why he says things the way he says them, and it's because of the way the brain scans show, like because of the brain scans, like how people react to it. And so anyway, so then I was like, all right, finally I can get into Joe Dispenza. But it's like his way of saying the things he says that are kind of weird are for a reason. But I needed to like overcome that in order for me to be able to like listen to him.
Yeah. Yeah. His books are great.
They're amazing.
You just keep that as the best books out there.
They are.
Because it is empowerment and science and showing you that the way you think can really change the way
gratitude, positivity, all those things. What is your mantra?
So, did you know I grew up in a Hindu ashram and actually have a mantra from a guru?
I did not know that.
So, mantra is sometimes what people, do say to themselves, like, I'll be fine, or it's safe here, or I'm here right now. Mine specifically is Om Namah Shivaya.
Right.
Because when I was about 7 until 17, every summer we lived in a Hindu ashram in upstate New York. I grew up on Long Island, and so we would drive up and initially would camp out and hitchhike into the ashram grounds, and eventually...
This is amazing.
You have another hour? Eventually...
No, I don't.
Eventually we had a bungalow. My mom would trade massages for rent to live in this bungalow, and then we would have like a bus that would bring us into this ashram, and the ashram was based on Hinduism and with the lineage of...
what is an ashram?
So an ashram is Like a big gathering with
Space.
temples,
Okay.
and there's a guru with the lineage, that teachings, and there's swamis that are kind of doing programs, and where you're learning about the kind of Hinduism and spirituality and living in a community, cooking together, cleaning up together, doing seva, which is selfless service, and chanting in this big group, doing an evening program, yoga. I mean, this was my
Cool.
childhood, but the mantra was Om Namah Shivaya, which means I honor the spirit in you that is also within me, and it's tattooed on the back of my neck, and it's something that, and there's the Om, which is the universal sound, the sound of the universe, the Om, vagus nerve again. Then Nama is like to honor, and Shiva is Shivaya is like honoring Shiva instead of just Shiva, but Shiva is the destroyer. Is one of the three main gods in the Hindu religion or philosophy, where there's the destroyer, the creator, and the sustainer. So Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu, and you need all three of them for something to be maintained and to be created. So Shiva is just, it's depending on what ashram you're going to. In the Hindu religion, there's many different gods, and all the gods represent things. They're not, you don't really have a god that you like pray to. It's really what they're representing. And so Om Namah Shivaya has always been my mantra, where it's something that is literally passed down from the gurus that were there. And
But I love that, because I think that it's very easy in life to other, right? To like the othering, the bad, this is bad, I'm good, I'm right, you're wrong. And so for me, and it's a practice, you know, that seeing everyone as God's children, as God, as like, as whatever, right?
Yeah, however you want to describe
however,
it. It's
yeah,
really all the same.
right? But just that the oneness, that we're all like one, right? So really trying to like, you know, we talked about trauma, to like to pray for that person, to pray for that thing, to pray for them, for the healing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I feel like it takes a lot of work to get there, but it's insurmountable. And I feel like it also minimizes the whole thing in a better way.
And it also like talks to the theme that you were saying before, the community, of how you have to give to receive, and you're in this community together, all helping each other. And the words you tell yourself are things that we need to like really concentrate on, but also the words that we say to others. And so it's this collective, energetic paradigm shift, elevation that can't happen with just one person. It can't happen with just us changing us and keeping it inside. It really is this honoring of the connection and the magical beings that we are, and it has to be not just me and not just you, but really
but also
us.
seeing me and you, and you and me, whether it's a good or a bad thing. If you see someone as bad, right, that you can also still see like their humanity.
Yeah. It's hard for me to see like a bad or a good, because I think it's things you do can be bad or good.
Right.
It's not really defining who you are, but even having a negative thought about someone, it's like, well, what is that bringing up in me? Like, am I not liking that in that person because it's an aspect of myself that I don't like? It's
Yeah, what is
how did we
it?
get so disconnected, really, from nature and from ourselves?
Yeah, but I think, I mean, there's always been, you know, like war and strife and all these things, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
from the beginning of time. So it's just really, I don't know. I guess it is. I don't know what it is. But anyway,
It's something.
it's something. So how can people get in touch with you?
Call me. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I
I
tell
have-
everybody to give.
I have a website. It's wellnessrisingllc.com. I have an Instagram, which is instagram.com/wellnessrising, or my personal one, Dr. Celeste ND. And I also have a lot of links on all of those social media sites. And I also have on my website, there's links for booking, and my booking schedule system is through Massage Book. So you can probably find me in any one of those ways. Email me, drcelesteruland@gmail.com. And you'll find my cell phone at some point, but I don't think I'm going to blast it on the podcast right now because I already have enough going on. But yeah, any one of those ways, website, social medias, Google me.
Awesome.
I love to help. I love to be there for whoever really needs it. And that's I feel like my purpose in life. It's just to try to help whoever I can help and heal the world, which was my wish when I was younger. Wish I could heal the world.
That's so cute. We still can.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming. I so appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I loved this.
It was so much fun. So that is it for today's longest episode of the Landlady Listens, where we turn vision into reality. Remember that success starts in your mind before it ever shows up in your life. And now it shows and in your body. Keep believing, keep building, and most importantly, keep taking action. And until next time, trust the process, bet on yourself, and go create a life that you deserve. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share this with someone who might like it. Thanks. Bye. That's it for today's episode of The Landlady, where we turn your vision into a reality. Remember, success starts in your mind before it ever shows up in your life. Keep believing, keep building, and more importantly, keep taking action. And until next time, trust the process, bet on yourself, and go create the life that you deserve. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Love you.